I know water actually just got somewhat of a complaint. And I was looking last night. We have a bit of a backlog, so I will try and find some time to get those done. Let's see. In terms of specific things, so I sent these in an email, but so Juneteenth, I guess that was my fault. In the past, we had maintenance had always just figured they would work and get the holiday pay. And then, rather than take the day off and not get paid. Jen HR is looking for a formal vote. So at least for the Juneteenth that already happened, I think she's looking for a vote to basically authorize them to work Juneteenth. I mean, they've already been paid, and I think going forwards, we'll have to make a note to talk about it in advance and make a decision. I didn't realize it was a whole thing. There's some ambiguity in the town's personnel policy that they don't get holiday pay for not working, but they get holiday pay because they had to work.
Didn't have to work.
Which is right. I mean, we have more than enough money.
That's what I'm saying is like they didn't have to work. If
right.
They're not public safety. They're required to have staffing. They didn't have to work. And I think that's where you're going to run into issues.
Right. Well, I think that's what caused the problem. And the guys want to work. It's a little extra money in their pocket. We're turning over 12, almost 10 grand to the town in free cash. It's not like it's a huge whatever, but definitely going forward, we'll have to talk about it. And they may revise the personnel policy, so it may be a non-issue. That's my bad. I didn't realize, because in the past we've just done it and nobody questioned it. But I think she's like looking at these things. So I guess, I don't know if I would make a motion to, authorize the maintenance crew. It was the maintenance crew and it was 2 of the lifeguards, because that was the day we ended up putting the docks in, just because the timing and the lake was on Thursday for the treatment. Juneteenth was on a Wednesday. So I guess for Jen's records, I'll make a motion to authorize the maintenance crew and lifeguards to work on Juneteenth.
This year.
That already happened, just so she has something in writing.
Yeah. Second.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye. Yeah, and then next year we'll have to definitely talk about it. I know, because then Brian texted me about July 4th, and I was like, yeah.
No.
As much as I understand, you'd want to just work Thursday and take Friday off, that's not happening. And with 2 days notice, we don't have time to meet and talk about it. So then with the lifeguards, I realized I made a bit of a boo-boo. So when we hired, 2 of our lifeguards came from the Goldfish Swim School and have experience, but they aren't fully certified. They're shallow water certified. And then this one person we hired for the junior shack has a bunch of swimming experience, but she's too young to be a certified lifeguard this year. So I ended up giving them some shifts as a lifeguard, a swim lesson assistant, to help out with swim lessons, which actually was a huge help because the guards we had for this first session were not super experienced. But I realized we probably should be paying them the same lifeguard rate of $17 an hour instead of the camp rate of 15. And the one girl on the shack is making 13 as a junior snack shack. It's I think when I put the number, the total cost is $86 for the 30 hours that they worked. It's not a lot of money, but I think it at least eliminates any pay inequities. So if you're cool with that, I would make a motion to set the pay rates for Gabby Palmer, Tatum Loftus, and Chloe Burke at $17 an hour when they work as a swim lesson assistant.
Second.
Yeah, okay. All in favor?
Aye. So there's that. Where's my email? The Grover well pump, unfortunately, we've now got everything hooked back together and we're getting no water pressure. I had a few people out to look at it. Todd is the only one that's responded with a quote. Rotor. Unfortunately, it's kind of a shit job because I guess with a pump that big that's still on steel pipe, it's possible there's a leak in the pipe and the pump is okay, but he said, and as other people have said this too, once you go through the hassle of pulling it, you change the pump because half of what you're paying for here is the labor. So his price was $6,700, $6,770. I did reach out to Richardson and
Darling.
I talked to Darling, but at that point, Darling was like the fourth one, so I told him to wait. Who's the other company? Advance or something like that. Just because Todd came and looked at it, and he wasn't getting back to me. And soccer is really wants to get this fixed. But I think at this point, I mean, that's a fair price. I would just, I mean, they're all good. None of them are bad. So
You have prices from all of them?
I have not heard back from the others.
No, we can't make a decision until we have all the prices.
Well, so what I have learned,
Oh, no, it's under 10,000.
these guys, when it comes to wells, they all know each other. I would not be surprised if there was discussion that happened of like, oh yeah, I'll do this, you do that one. Because I accidentally stepped in it with the town hall well too. Like they all have dinner together. Families all know each other. So I would say at this point, there's a reason where I'm not getting a price from the other ones. I mean,
It's under 10,000, so you don't have to.
yeah, I mean, if you want me to wait and try,
I would reach out to them again.
just check in and see.
Just to check in and see where they're at. And then,
But maybe, are we good to like up to 10,000? I mean,
yeah.
I do think it is kind of a lot, but soccer did put a way more work into that field. And I know before you were on, we had talked about aerating and seeding Grover. They went this spring. I didn't even realize. And they seem always willing to pay for the fertilizer and stuff. So I think that's a fair trade. So we're good, like up to 10,000, and then I'll call the others again and just check in if they want to quote it. I think Todd said he could get it done. All right, so I'll make a motion on that, I guess, to approve the replacing the well up to 10,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Like,
Let me just look if there was anything else in terms of stuff. Hang on, there was something. The well, that issue, Juneteenth salaries, the well pump. I think that's the major stuff. I just talked to them next door. That's one of the people interested in the pickleball. I'm trying to get a formal thing in writing from the guy, but he said he would put us on the schedule in July. All I have is I have emails from them. And I did actually talk to Dave Allaire the other week. So I think that's still on track as soon as they can schedule it. Maybe probably just have to wait out till basketball's done and get those courts done, because that court's looking rough. I know the other issue. We had as a rec thing. The programming is good. We definitely are going to want to think a little bit about swim lessons for next year. Again, talking about a beach director. I don't think we were equipped to effectively teach the upper levels of lessons in hindsight. So we need to really, if we want to keep that, we need to really try and find somebody that's had a little more background and what's involved there. So we ran into a minor issue with our policies for the rec program. There's kind of a loophole in our language around deposits and refunds. So the way we're set up is we require a 50% deposit to hold the spot, and then you would pay in full, but it's not super clear about when that payment in full is like required, other than that morning at drop off. Our refund policy just says we need 14 days notice, and with less than 14 days notice, you forfeit whatever you've paid. So there's at least one person that basically they pay the deposit, decide these kids didn't go for whatever reason, and now they want the system says they owe the remaining $30, but our policies are kind of vague. So I don't know if we want to mess with it. It's not a huge deal. It's a little bit of a loophole. And it seems like our intent would be that you pay in full, because if I have a wait list, I have other people that would pay in full. We're kind of leaving money on the table.
mm-hmm.
And we're much busier this year. In years past, if we weren't at full capacity, that wasn't terrible. But if I'm full with 10 people on the wait list, it's kind of crappy to lose out on money. So I don't know if we want to amend the policy to make it clear that, you know, if you no show, the expectation is you still owe that remaining deposit. And I think next year with this new system, I actually was talking to Shelley about this the other day. Your wife at the boat race. The way I think it will work is we'll be able to have the groups like that you can register for, and some like they'll be age restricted and there'll be some overlap. So then the parents can register for those groups. Like I think it's going to solve a lot of these issues with how it's more designed for a camp. I think with Rec 1, we're running into some limitations based on what the software can and can't do, and we've had to make policies around that. You know, like payment plans, like, you know, if you could do a payment plan and say everything's due that Monday, but I can't do a percentage-based payment plan. I can only do a number-based one, which is stupid. So that's that. I said, I don't know if we want to amend the policy, and I didn't send out any language. I'm just gonna look at it real quick. Yeah, it says, changes cancellation with less than 14 days notice will forfeit the 50% deposit along with any additional payment made towards the 100% total due. So maybe, you know, we just rephrase it to say that the expectation is that with less than 14 days notice, you're paying in full, you know, unless we can fill the spot from a wait list, which sometimes we do. So you guys good with that?
We're good with
I'll have
that.
to
Yeah.
figure out the exact language on this, but, and I think next year we'll sit down and revise all this again with the new system.
Yeah.
So that's that. I did meet with a paving guy finally yesterday to do the last look at a few things at the beach. He's going to send me a price. It was Cataldo. I've texted Harshaw. He hasn't responded to me, but I think it's a very small job for him. So I don't know. And then I don't know, like with Morrison Drive, if I haven't had any time to look at plans or anything.
I met with
more info.
I met with Mike Jones. He's supposed to be putting together some numbers. And I'm supposed to meet with Joe Pereira as far as pouring the floor in that building, just to get a cost.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I'll at some point I get like a few things I gotta get caught up on before I can do new stuff, but it'd be good to mess around with some floor plans and come up with some ideas. I mean, I don't know what else you can do back there. So it does sound like they are bringing back the senior center, but I know, like he said at that meeting, you know, if it isn't substantially different, I don't think the result's going to be any different.
It is.
They are reducing it now.
It's a $10 million price tag, and there's going to be areas that are going to be future expansion.
Because I get an email the other day asking about a playground, and I said, well, you know, there's a playground across the street. You know, I think our priority is fields. But I think my advice to them was take all that stuff out of it, just focus on your building. That other stuff can happen later, because I think that confused people and took away from the issue, and people thought that they were paying more for all those extras. And anyway, yeah, I know I want to sit down and update. I actually want to put it on our website and make like a capital project list for parks, kind of like what Highway does, where you have like, here's the thing we're working on next season. I just but that would help organize this. At some point, if you have time, we should maybe try and write up like a scope of work for all that parking lot work. Because I think there's a lot of it that's all related, like fix up the entrance to that, the drainage, the handicap walkway, the handicap spaces, the work on Taft Ave. And then I think every time we like look at it, and then I like there's like one more thing. But that might be another project sometime to think about, especially now that we can leverage your knowledge on that stuff.
Add it to the list.
Yeah. The tree is gone finally. That was pretty cool. They had a crane. We do need to do more work over there. I've been talking to Brian about, I think I want to have the maintenance guys go over there and like dig out some of that stuff along the fence. There's like a little strip left. Like we need to just get rid of it. It's just going to keep growing back. And then I don't know if you guys have time or ability to bring us stone, or if I should just order it and spend $100.
3/4 stone.
I think we need to get like 10 yards of 3/4 crushed stone or
We have a
millings.
big pile of it.
So if you're able to, and then just dump it, but I'm going to have them pull the weeds,
Let me know when you want it.
the lower stuff.
Or
and
you
then
can
that
come
upper
up-
section.
Probably come up with a machine and spread it too.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great, or even, to dig stuff out. The lower area can be done by hand, but that upper thing, unless we just bury it, there's like that last strip of grass, but it's all poison ivy. And then I don't know, are you guys able to do riprap if we wanted to fill that channel, or would that be something we should have somebody do?
Have a pile of that too.
Because that's the other one, and I don't know how much you'd need, but it's not super urgent, because now I think, again, we gotta clean all the brush out that collapsed on top of that outfall. That pipe, or rod they put in has been working really good. So anyway, I guess that's everything I have. I don't know if you guys had anything else that want to try and set a date. The lake testing has been good, actually. She didn't call me this week again, so that means it wasn't a fail. So I don't know if it's just, Isabella's going out like a decent distance, so I don't know if it was, maybe the sampling wasn't always great, but it is definitely higher at the beach and the cove area, which is interesting.
That's where the geese are.
Yeah. Yeah, so far it's too early. It doesn't seem to correlate with like higher levels of other things. But I don't know if it's just because those outfalls are there, like from 16 and all that. But anyway, so I think that's all I had. I don't know if you guys have anything else, if you want to tentatively set a date, or if we're just wait until some stuff comes up.
You can wait. I don't really think there's
Yeah.
much to discuss right now.
Yeah, I agree.
I just, yeah, I think we got library concert next week. I still need to, I want to set up that screen and measure how big it is and take a look at that, because it would be interesting if we could do something like that this summer still, maybe in August.
Yeah, let me know. We definitely have a projector we can use. We use the
I have a
rear.
projector as well.
Yeah.
If it'll do rear projection, that would be ideal.
I don't think it will. We
But you
had
said-
one at work, and it was this thing. I don't think it will. I don't know how it would get through. I wouldn't think.
Yeah,
it would do rear.
I don't know if you need a different type of screen. The town has a projector
Yeah,
too. I just
we
don't know
had
if it's
one at
quite big
work.
enough.
We had one at work, and it's almost like a translucent screen. And it
Okay.
just projected it from the back, but it was a thin, you know what I mean? It wasn't the inflatable, definitely. Well, we wouldn't have used one at work, but it has to get through, and you won't with the inflatable. It's pretty big. And it's pretty, it's fairly wide because of, obviously, it's inflatable, but I think you have to go from the front. That's what we've done.
Yeah.
We we didn't use it much, but.
That might work, because I don't know, I feel like you could do like a video game night or something. I don't know if that would work or turn into a disaster, but
Probably turn into a disaster.
you have you have to do like Mario Kart or something. It can't be like Fortnite or craziness. The kids will be, you get the cops showing up. I don't know, maybe somebody like them would want to facilitate something like that too. I don't know if any of those guys are into that, like the fire guys. That might be a fun,
What, a game night?
like a video game night, because the thing, you need somebody to run it. Like, I'll have to ask my staff if anybody would be interested in kind of helping with that. I have all the Guitar Hero Rock Band stuff. But I think that would be cool to do more programming for kids at the beach. That seems to be what gets us the biggest
people
crowds.
asking about that roly-poly.
I know.
Or whatever.
Those two events, I don't know if you've been, they pack the beach, and it's a library. I totally forgot she was doing something today, some bubble bubble show or something, and they did a dog show.
My kids are there.
So they, I think more working with them is good. But all right, I think that's everything I had. Oh, actually, I had a question. Have you just at some point we should probably chat with Jeremy if you haven't and get his thoughts on this whole maintenance DPW adventure.
I told him, I said, I understand you're new. I said, there's a lot of things that I would like to discuss with you. And there's a lot of things that I want to bring you up to speed on, like ongoing projects and issues. I said, so when you're ready, reach out to me and we can go from there.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I sent him a few things. It's like, well, here's the quick explanation, but we need to meet about this like sometime in the fall. Because like the permitting and all that. The new one we hired for select board, she used Viewpoint in Blackstone. So I think we got somebody else on board that knows how to do some of the back end stuff too. So that's
good. The stuff that you do for them? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, it's the town's permitting system.
Yeah.
And actually, so I guess I can tell you at this point, so that we did ratify a contract, or we signed an MOA. Hopefully the select board agrees. And so for me, it'll get me up to 40 hours. And I think once this study comes through, there'll probably be more discussion, but at least that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
even if
good.
it didn't address other things. But all right.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yep.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, why don't you write that down?